Hi there, my name is Kronenberg and welcome to my channel. This is a film review of In the Earth. Come here. Sorry, it's the dog. It's a horror, came out in 2021. It's a 15, an hour and 47 minutes. Amazon is 4.6 out of 5, IMDb is 5.1 out of 10. I'll read the Amazon synopsis. As the world searches for a cure to a disastrous virus, a scientist and park scout venture deep in the forest for a routine equipment run. Through the night, their journey becomes a terrifying voyage through the earth of darkness, the forest coming to life around them. Yeah. Now, it was a recommended film, or a suggested film even, not necessarily recommended, but it's like a requested review. So it's from a good friend of mine, so here it is for you. So the director is Ben Wheatley, who did Kill List. Producer were the six of them, but with producer on we have Andrew Stark, who did Possessor. Music was by Clint Mansell, who did Black Swan. So the cast is Joel Fry, who was Martin Lowry, who was in Yesterday. Elora Torchia, Torchia, who was Alma, who was in A Real Pain. Reese Shearsmith, who was Zack, who was in The League of Gentlemen, and Hayley Squires, who was Olivia Wendell, who was in I, Daniel Blake. And it was conceived, written and produced in quarantine during the COVID-19 pandemic. I never would have guessed. So, it starts with a rock. It's on the picture of this DVD, that bit. I think it's on the DVD. But then someone's whacking the hell out of another piece of rock and plants a tiny slither in the ground, like a bit of flint, and with a bit of grass on top. I was like, okay. Music's good at this point. George Ewing, it's assumed the same guy, arrives at the Grand Lode Lodge. I don't think it's the same person who actually planted the rock, but I thought it was because of the timing. Now, so many of us remember COVID. So our Doc Martin... not Doc Martin, but he's called Martin, arrived at the lodge. He's on lockdown, so they've got masks on. They spray him with something, don't know what it is. He goes inside. Now, bear in mind that he's not got a mask on. Alright, so they test to make sure he's okay. Even though they keep whipping their masks off near the windows. Come here. Talking to the dog. Now, if he was infected, they all will be at this point. How? Well, if he leaves, the virus is still in the air because he's airborne. Well, I should assume it is. The reason why they're having to spray everybody. Good call. So it's been told by Alma that there's something to the people who pray to in this area. So there's this picture on the wall, and he's like, "Oh, what's this?" He says, all the people around here pray to this kind of thing. Based on the pictures and the pamphlets, it's for the good. It's for good. And he says, "Are you sure about that?" He says, "What do you mean?" He says, "Are you sure it's good? Because there's a lot of bad things happening in this picture." And she goes, No, it's good. Famous last words. So he's been in the lodge. He's not been wearing a mask. And he's been chatting to Alma, who doesn't wear a mask either. And then after a while, this guy comes in and says, "Good news, you've cleared." And I'm like, Great lockdown, mate. Absolutely fantastic. What happens if he hadn't have cleared? It's just like, yeah, because Alma stood there right with him. Now, the guy who's Martin, I saw him in 2012, the Olympics comedy thing. It's quite good to watch that. He was in it, not a main role, but he was quite good in that. But that's why I was kind of curious how he'd be in this one. So Martin hasn't exercised in years. He's nearly collapsing on the walk after camping. They're walking to the Wendell's camp, and he asks, "How far away is it?" And she says, 15 miles. It would be a miracle if he lasts a mile, to be honest. Now, I didn't read the trivia thing, so I didn't know, but I was thinking, yeah, it's definitely made with COVID in mind. So Alma and Martin are eating at a camp. He says it's weird being outside after months inside. She says, "Everything will be back to normal. People forget." And he says, "No one will forget." And she went, "Yeah, they will." And I was like, yeah, so true. I mean, it was, 6 years ago, I think. Does anybody actually really remember it? Really? I mean, obviously, if you had loved ones die during it, I get that. But you know. Going back to nature, at one with the earth. So they're walking barefoot. I'm not going to explain why. To be honest, walking on soft grass with no shoes on, having to look out for dog crap is always a bad thing. Even in my back garden, it's like, oh, what the hell? The little shit's been outside. Out in the forest, yeah, you take shoes for granted, I can tell you that. Now, there's quite a few fade to black scenes. It kind of makes me think there's adverts. I'm not sure, if you know what I mean. You know when you watch a film and it fades to black, then it's going to be adverts. But when you watch it on a DVD or something, it's got the same thing on it. Now, this is very rare to see. So mine was having a sewing lesson by Zach, right, and was reacting the exact same way we would all react. You know, because the thing he was sewing up wasn't his jumper, if you know what I mean. Normally it's, yeah, stitch me up, I'm fine, yeah, carry on, yeah, and then let's just go out. But no, he wasn't. He was more or less ready to vomit. And again, there's one point. So Zach, which is the guy from League of Gentlemen, had a beard on, obviously. And his voice and mannerisms kind of reminded me of that chef Marcus, who did, Master Chef and stuff like that. It sounded like him, and it kind of looked like how he was doing it. And now, because I don't read what these actors are before I watch it, because I kind of want to watch it blind and pick out my favourite actors, or are the ones that actually, I think, not favourite, but the ones that are actually in it, not the ones that are on the DVD cover because they say that they're in it, or, you know, they're in it for about 2 seconds. So I was like, I swear I've seen him somewhere before, and it was only when he started doing something else I was like, he's from League of Gentlemen. It's an awesome comedy. I think the third season's a little bit weird. But the first one's absolutely fantastic. But it's definitely for certain comical people. Now, I've not seen this for ages, but we have a green light in Zach's tent. Now, when I say not seen it for ages, I've been grateful I've not seen it in many films I've been watching lately. Just some not old crappy films, but low budget films always put green lights in. And I was like, oh, where's the purple and the yellow? But no, it was just green. Why not white? They're in a tent, remember. There's some comic bits from Zach at this point. So Martin's foot, the sewing didn't help. So he has two choices. He can go to town or amputation of some toes. And he's like, well, why the toes? Even though the toes weren't the bits that were damaged. But I assume there was some other reason. Anyway, Zach gets his axe. Says, pop your foot onto that. You know, like, more matter of fact. And he's like, no, it's all right. I can cope with the gangrene. It's okay. So he brings the axe down. He misses. Martin's absolutely crapping himself at this point. And Zach says, hey, it's fine. Just taking aim. Getting my bearings. So he keeps missing again and again until he doesn't. And then he partially hits, if you know what I mean. It's very good to see in a horror. And this is when it started to go to crap. So what do we all love when watching a film in the dark? Yep, flashing lights. It's a great thing. Now, we're in the middle of nowhere in the forest. Martin's found some speaker system, and now we have strobe lights. And I mean proper seizure-inducing strobe lights. I don't get seizures, but I had to screw my eyes shut at this point. And I was listening for 10 minutes, because you could hear this noise as it's like doing the light thing. And every time I opened my eyes or squinted, I could see it still flashing. And I was just listening. It was around about 10 minutes, that long. You know, normally whenever you've seen a film and they've got a flickering light due to a light bulb or some sort of alarm system or whatever the hell it is, it's usually for about maybe a minute, maybe two maximum, and then they bugger off into another room or something like that. This was on for 10 minutes and it was strobe lights. It wasn't flicker, it was strobe. And also it's dark in the film, so you just bog your eyeballs out. So my eyes and my brain nearly gave up at this point. So I was losing 2 points in the rating at this point, because I was actually going to give it a decent rating. It was like, nah, that's dropped down. Now there was a warning in Amazon itself saying that due to photosensitive people or something, but not when it pops up and it doesn't tell you it's on for like 10 minutes of the damn film. Now apparently Alma saw something in the woods, because I haven't got a clue, because I was climbing the walls myself at this point. I was like, I can't see a thing. Poor Martin. So he's being worked on again, but by Wendell this time. She says, "You have very special flesh." And he goes, "Oh, thank you," with a grimace. Now, I was watching Alma walk through some mist of spores from the fungi. Alright, she's put on a mask, goggles, and a red paper suit. It didn't help at all. Now, of course, mine's like you need more protection there. And I was like, I knew it wouldn't work instantly because you need to be in a completely green suit with rubber type, with a full head mask. Trust me, I worked in chemicals for many years, and that's what I had to wear, including breathing apparatus and everything else. But no, apparently not. Apparently you just wear that. Oh joy. It's daytime. I was like, oh, thank you, God. And then we have some hypno effects. This isn't the flashing. This is something even worse. My eyeballs I was like, what the hell? I had to close my eyes again, and I can hear when it flickers due to the crap TV interference noise going that noise. So that's when you knew that it was switching between different images. And no, I didn't have my eyes open at that point because I was just giving up. Another point removed. Now, at this point, so when they're with Zach and having his toes having worked on, stuff like that, getting a pedicure, it was about a 6. At this point, due to the strobes and the hypno, it's a 3. I haven't finished the film yet. Anyway, it's night time again. I was like, fuck, no. Wendell says someone needs to go to the stone. Light and sound is what it needs or something. I was like, oh, please no light. Please, please, please. So begins the sodding flashing lights again. Now at this point, which is rare for me when I watch a horror film, I had to turn the lights on. Not because I was scared. It was because I was nearly blind. So I had to go and turn the lights on and watch it. But even then I wasn't really watching it because it was still flashing like nuts. It's absolute crap. So anyway, another point's been removed. It's a 2. Rating 2. Anyway, Wendell says someone tripped the electric system. I thought, oh, thank God. Anyway, unfortunately, she found the breaker and turned it back on again. Like I say, this is a full-on. And it's near the end, and it's still hypno, full of TV interference, sound and lights. Now, the virus thing is crap. Right? You would never know unless the bit at the very start with them walking to the lodge and then Alma and Martin talking for about a minute about, lockdown or whatever it is. And that's it. You would never guess. 0. Literally, you could have just removed the bit about the squirting of the stuff down the lodge and them talking about it, and I would never have known. That was it. It literally was. I would never have known. It wasn't like it was some sort of virus that everyone was going to get. Oh my God, no. It's all about this forest thing. So if you, like I say, if you move that, the horror was good, the suspense, until they find the speakers and the hey presto strobe lights. So I'm giving it a 2. That's right, I'm giving it a 2. I can't believe it. So I've seen some films that are like 3s and 2s. Everyone goes, why do you watch those? And it's like, well, why not? You never know. And some of them I've found that are quite good, and I've shoved them up to like a 6 because they're quite good, or even just a 4, or even 3. But that's what you expect. But this was like, they're all well-known people. It was dire. Ignore that's the dog. It, like I say, was a 6. I dropped a point each time they did a scene with it. And like I say, one bit, it was strobes for about 10 minutes. 10 minutes! It's worse than a rave. I mean, at least a rave, you know what you're doing at a rave. But this was doop, 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 on my eyes. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed watching and listening to this film review of In the Earth. That's where this film should be buried. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me the old thumbs up if you like this review. Leave a comment below. Have you seen this film? Have you got your eyesight back? Or did you enjoy it, chipping out to the LSD effects? Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Okay, well, thank you and goodbye.